A year after our divorce, my ex texted, "We need to talk." Now I replied, "Busy. Date night with your..." The text came in at 8:41 p.m. on a Friday, 1 year after the divorce papers were stamped and slid across the courthouse counter like a receipt for a life I didn't get to keep. "Ethan, we need to talk now." I stared at the screen until the letters blurred, then sharpened again. Not because I missed him, because my body still remembered what that sentence meant in our marriage. Drop everything, make space for his emergency, be small enough to fit around his needs. My thumbs hovered, then moved with the calm of someone closing a door they'd already locked months ago. Me. Busy. Date night with your replacement. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again, and for the first time in years I smiled. Not because I'd won anything, but because I finally understood something simple and brutal. He didn't text because he loved me. He texted because something was happening that he couldn't charm, bully, or spin his way out of, and he thought I was still his backup plan. He was wrong. Act 1, the betrayal. Hook, humiliation. A year earlier, I still had the kind of marriage that looked good from the outside. The kind of marriage my mom posted about on Facebook. "So proud of these two. 10 years strong," she wrote under a photo of Ethan and me at my cousin's wedding, his arm around my waist, my smile bright and practiced. 10 years, not a fairy tale, not a war zone either, just a slow erosion, like water wearing down stone. You don't notice until the shape is different. I'm Mara, 34 at the time. I work as a graphic designer, mostly branding for small businesses, coffee shops, dentists, boutique gyms with names like Forge and Pulse. I liked clean lines, smart typography, color palettes that told the truth. It was quiet work, underestimated work. Ethan, 36 then, was in commercial real estate. He wore confidence like cologne. He was the kind of man who could make a waitress laugh and a room listen, and then turn around and make you feel like you were lucky he chose you. We lived in a renovated townhouse in Tacoma, Washington, off a street where the trees dropped yellow leaves like confetti in October. Ethan always called it our starter home. I always called it home. The betrayal didn't arrive with a dramatic lipstick smear or a hotel receipt. It arrived as a humiliation, delivered casually over chicken parmesan in a crowded restaurant, as if it were a funny story. It was Saturday, 7:18 p.m. at Osteria Lucia, our special occasion place, the one with candles that made everyone look kinder. Ethan's phone buzzed on the table. He glanced down, smiled in a way that didn't include me, then flipped the phone face down like he'd been burned. I didn't say anything at first. That was one of my flaws back then. I gave people too many exits, too many chances to do the right thing. But something in my stomach tightened. I picked up my water glass and realized my hand was already shaking. "Who's that?" I asked, trying to sound light. Ethan didn't even look up from his pasta. "Work," he said, too fast. Then he added, "God, Mara, can we not do this tonight? Can we not do this?" As if my question was the problem, as if curiosity in my own marriage was a character flaw. The waitress came back to ask if we wanted dessert. Ethan ordered tiramisu without asking me. I watched him talk. Watched him smile at the waitress, watched him play charming while I sat there like a decorative chair. And then my phone buzzed. A text from Lila, my younger sister. "Lila, are you with Ethan?" I blinked. Me, "Yes, why?" 3 dots. Then, Gila, "Then why is he with Vanessa?" My heart did that strange thing where it tried to climb out of my throat. I typed, "Me, who is Vanessa?" Her reply came like a slap. Hola. "The blonde one, the one who's been posting from Seattle. He just walked into the W Hotel bar with her. I'm literally watching them." I went cold all at once. Not rage, not tears, numbness. "Ethan," I said very quietly. He sighed like I was inconveniencing him. "What?" I turned my screen toward him. "My sister says she sees you at the W Hotel bar with someone named Vanessa." For a second, just a second, his face did something honest. The color drained. His jaw tightened. Then the mask slid back on. He laughed, a short, ugly sound. "Your sister is drunk." "She's at a work mixer," I said. "She doesn't drink." He leaned back, eyes narrowing. "So you're going to trust her over me?" It was such a perfect inversion that I almost admired it. "That's not what I said," I replied. Ethan picked up his phone, thumb tapping quickly. "She's mistaken." I watched his screen reflect in his eyes. He wasn't texting Lila, he was warning someone. Then he looked up, smile back in place. "There, settled. Can we eat in peace now?" I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I simply stood up, put my napkin on the table, and said, "I'm going to the bathroom." And I walked out of the restaurant. Not to the bathroom, to my car. In the parking lot, with the restaurant's warm lights spilling onto the pavement, I called Lila. She answered on the first ring. "I'm not crazy," she said immediately. "Mara, it was him. He walked in like he owned the place. His hand was on her back." "Are you sure?" I asked, hating myself for even asking. "I watched them kiss," Lila said. Like he didn't care who saw. My throat tightened until it hurt. "What was she wearing?" I asked, because my mind needed something concrete to hold on to. "A black dress, satin, backless," Lila said, voice shaking with anger. "And she had this ring, like a big engagement ring." That detail landed strangely. Engagement ring, not a random hookup, not a secret fling with nothing to lose. A woman who had promised her life to someone else. I went back inside. Ethan looked up, irritated. "Finally," I sat down. "Let's go. We haven't even—" "Now," I said. Something in my tone must have changed, because his eyes flicked over my face like he was searching for cracks. "Fine," he muttered, tossing cash on the table like he was paying to end a conversation. In the car, he tried the old tricks. Silence, yeas, a few strategically placed insults. "You're being dramatic. You always do this. You want to ruin everything over a misunderstanding." I stared straight ahead at the dark road and said nothing, because the thing about betrayal is that it doesn't just break your trust, it makes you recalculate your entire history. Every late meeting, every work trip, every time he turned his phone away. It wasn't one lie. It was a structure built carefully, brick by brick, while I decorated the inside like it was a home. When we pulled into our driveway at 9:06 p.m., Ethan finally snapped. "What do you want from me?" he demanded, as if I were the one creating the crisis. I looked at him, and I said, "The truth. Tonight. No spin." He scoffed. "There is no truth. There's nothing to tell." So I did something I hadn't done in years. I called his bluff. I took my phone, opened my messages, and dialed Lila on speaker. Ethan's face changed instantly. Lila answered, "Mara, tell him what you saw," I said calmly. Word for word. Ethan reached for the phone. I pulled it away. Lila didn't hesitate. "I saw you at the W Hotel bar in Seattle with a blonde woman in a black satin dress. Your hand was on her back. You kissed her." "You looked like you didn't care who saw." Silence filled the car like smoke. Ethan's throat bobbed. Then he did what arrogant people do when cornered. He doubled down. "That's insane," he said, voice sharp. "Lila's always hated me." Lila laughed, short, humorless. "I took a photo," she said. "Want me to send it?" Ethan froze, and in that moment I saw it, not remorse, fear of consequences. My hands didn't tremble. Something crystallized inside me. "Send it," I told Lila. The photo arrived at 9:11 p.m. Ethan, unmistakable, his profile, his suit, his watch I bought him for our anniversary, and a blonde woman leaning into him, smiling like she'd already won. I stared at it until my vision sharpened into a single cold thought. He chose this, repeatedly. I turned to him. "Who is she?" Ethan swallowed. "It's not what it looks like." I nodded once. "Okay." He blinked. "Okay." I opened the car door. He stared. "Where are you going?" I stepped out into the night air, shut the door softly, and said through the window, "I'm going to sleep in the guest room. Tomorrow I'm going to start figuring out what else you've been lying about." Then I walked inside, and for the first time in 10 years, I didn't worry about how he felt. The next morning, I woke at 5:23 a.m. in the guest room, staring at the ceiling fan like it could explain how a person's life can split cleanly in half overnight. I didn't confront him again right away, not because I was weak, because I was finally done being reactive. Ethan expected tears, screaming, begging. That was the version of me he'd trained. Instead, I made coffee. I fed the cat. I opened my laptop, and I started collecting reality. First stop, our phone bill. I'd never checked it before. Ethan handled finances, and I'd let him because I trusted him and because I hated arguments about money. A mistake. The phone bill showed dozens of calls to one number over the last 18 months. Late nights, early mornings, weekends he claimed were site visits. I copied the number into a note. Then I checked our shared email for travel confirmations. It was like pulling a thread and realizing the sweater was already falling apart. 3 work trips to San Diego that weren't on his company calendar. 2 weekend stays in Seattle at hotels we'd never been to together. A car rental in my name on a weekend I was at my mom's. And the ugliest part, He'd used my loyalty like a credit card. By 8:10 a.m., I had a spreadsheet, date, location, hotel, amount, notes. At 8:47 a.m., Ethan came into the kitchen, hair messy, face carefully neutral. "Are we done with the drama?" he asked. I looked up and smiled pleasantly. "No," I said, "we're just getting started." He frowned like he didn't understand. I kept my voice even. "I'm going to work today. When I get back, I want you out of the house for the evening. I need space," he scoffed. "It's my house, too." I nodded. "Then I'll go stay somewhere else, and you can explain to your mother why your wife left after a woman in Seattle posted you on her Instagram." That made his eyes flicker. He hadn't considered exposure. He said nothing and left the room. The rest of the week passed in a strange, suspended state. I went to client meetings. I delivered logo drafts. I smiled at baristas. I lived like a ghost inside my own life. At night, I dug. I found Vanessa. Not through some hacker fantasy, through simple, arrogant carelessness. One of Ethan's email confirmations included a name, Vanessa Klein. I searched public social media. She was exactly what you'd imagine Ethan would pick. Polished, high-gloss, curated joy. Her bio read, "Customer Experience Director, Wellness to Travel, Living My Best Life." And yes, she had an engagement ring. Her fiancé's name was in her comments constantly, Bradley Hart. He posted pictures of them at wineries, smiling, arm around her waist. In one photo, his caption read, "Counting down to forever, 112 days." Something in me went still. If I was being betrayed, so was he. At 10:36 p.m. on Thursday, I sent him a message. Not emotional, not accusatory, just a fact. Me, hi. "You don't know me, but I'm Mara. I'm married to Ethan Pierce. I believe Ethan and Vanessa Klein have been seeing each other. I have evidence. If you want to talk, I'm available tomorrow after 6 p.m. He replied at 12:02 a.m. "Bradley, call me, now." So I did. He answered breathless, like he'd been waiting by the phone. "What evidence?" he demanded. I told him about the photo from Lila, about the hotel receipts, about the call logs. He went silent. Then he said something that made my skin prickle. "They've been doing this longer than 18 months, he said. My grip tightened on the phone. "How do you know?" "Because she's been traveling for work since before we got engaged," he said, voice hollow.